Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube. It's Lesley Tao here, and I'm here with the amazing Sheryl Miller.
Hello, hello.
And you're going to be a bestseller soon.
Fingers crossed.
Whoop whoop. So what have I got here? I've got Smashing Stereotypes, which is a book that Sheryl has just published, and you're going to be having a signing on...
I am 4th of March in Waterstones, Birmingham.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing though. It's like big stuff going on here. So I've got a hardback and a softback, is that what it's called? Paperback, softback, what's that? Yeah, here. And so if you guys don't know Sheryl, you are very naughty, okay? Sheryl is Leah Miller's mama, and she's also an amazing accountant who's climbed up the corporate ladder. Who do you used to work for?
EY.
So Ernst & Young,
yeah,
and they are one of the top fours. Is that what they call them?
Yeah, big four.
Big four.
Yeah.
So funny. So in the legal field, we have the magic circle firms, right?
Okay.
And
in publishing, they have the big five.
Big five.
Yeah.
But you used to work for the big four.
The big four.
Yeah. And by the way, it's not easy working, you know, climbing up the corporate ladder in such big companies, because it's the creme of the creme. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
But one of the reasons why I wanted Sheryl to come on is obviously to talk about her book, but she's also a property investor and doing really well. And both Sheryl and Leah have found their passion with developments or conversions. So in other words, BRR. Ooh, sorry. Brrs. Let me just switch this off. We'll cut this out. Yeah. So actually, since we're on the topic, should we talk about your book?
Sure.
Do you want to hold it up?
Oh.
Come on,
let's hold like a few seconds and then we'll put it down.
Can you tell us what your book's about, firstly?
So the book, the subtitle, so it's Smashing Stereotypes, and then the subtitle is How to Get Ahead When You're the Only Blank in the Room. And I do a lot of mentoring, and actually I was at a mentoring event this week on Tuesday down in London for the Professional Women's Network, and I spoke to so many young women that were sort of saying, you know, that one of the challenges they find is that in the workplace they're often the only female, and often the only female of colour, amongst a lot of quite confident, loud voices, and they find it difficult to sort of know how to get ahead, basically. And so that's what the book was about. So based on my own personal experiences of just kind of what works, really. Yeah. So
without giving away too much of the content, could you give one tip of how a female entrepreneur, a female, what we call employee, can do in a corporate work environment in order to be heard?
Yeah, there are so many tips, because there's all sorts of things, you know, dealing with office politics and how to get pay rise and promotion. The one thing actually, and one of my mentees brought it up the other day, was I know sometimes when you're in meetings you can find it quite overwhelming, and the more senior you go, you know, board meetings and those types of things, sometimes you can be sat in a meeting and you find it difficult to find your voice, you know, and there are people talking and they're quite loud and you just can't get a word in. And one of the tips that I gave was to basically start to write down the points that you want to make before you go into the meeting. And actually, if the meeting's well organised, you can actually send your points ahead to the meeting organiser. So actually, I'd like to raise this point and that point. And if they're a good organiser, they might actually raise the point on your behalf and then pull you into the conversation. So just start slowly, but get organised about what it is you want to say before you go into the meetings. Yeah, that's my one tip. Just one thing about the book as well, I found out this week. So the dedication in the book is to my grandmother, who passed away last year.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and I found out, so somebody in the family spotted the dedication, and they were sharing a story of actually when I was little, my grandmother, who worked lots of, you know, manual heavy jobs and stuff in Birmingham, but she used to talk about being the only, you know, sort of small black woman, and she was tiny, she was smaller than me, and she experienced some racism, but she always kind of said, you know, I'm just here to do my best and get on with it. And I didn't even know that story, but when I heard it, 'cause she was a massive influence on me, so it really sort of resonates. So I think I definitely wrote the right book for my first book.
I love it. I can't wait to read through it.
Thank you. And the audiobook's out as well if you prefer audiobooks.
I quite like hard copy and collecting signatures. Your signature is in another one we've got here. I do want to talk about the book some more because obviously I'm of a different race as well. I was just trying to think back to when I felt I couldn't, my voice wasn't heard. I'll give you the scenario. And what would Sheryl give to a 20-something-year-old Lesley? So with one of my work, I used to work for a really well-known law firm. Had a very strong shipping litigation practice. And it was because of the industry, so shipping that we were in, it's very male dominated. So all the partners then were guys, and they were quite old school. And they used to have a lunch session, so a lunch meeting every other week. But none of the women in the office were invited. It was purely a guys thing. And it was hard, I felt, to sort of contribute anything valuable. Like I always got on with everybody, but from more of a social perspective as opposed to work perspective. So how do you, when you're in a more male dominated environment, corporate environment, how do you make your voice heard, apart from the tip that you've given me already? I mean, one of the things that I talk about quite a lot, and it's because it's advice I used to give to a lot of women in the office, is about finding somebody that supports you when you're not in the room, if that makes sense. So finding, you know, almost not like a kind of formal sponsor or formal mentor, but just somebody that you're on their radar, they know that you do a good job, and they will champion you when you're not in the room. So because often, you know, we hear about things like old boys network, often you know, stuff is done, deals are done, business is done often in those social environments, and that's why women have been kept out for a long time. But there are ways to get, you know, if you can get a supporter, a sponsor. So if you get on somebody's project, for example, so if there's a big project going on, and I'm a big fan of getting involved in projects and initiatives as being a way of getting onto somebody's radar, and then them supporting you when you're not in the room, so that if there are other exciting things going on, they'll say, oh, you know, that Lesley's really good, she's been working with me on this, let's get her involved. And that's kind of a good way to start to break into those voices. That's interesting, isn't it? Thank you. So hopefully that will help some people out there, right? And it's also applicable to men as well.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the people that have connected, I mean, we know obviously that that there are different challenges for different minorities in the workplace, but I've had, you know, guys kind of say that they've identified with it as well, if they're, you know, maybe the only the only gay person in the office, or they're the only non-white person or whatever. So I've kind of specifically done it to appeal to just those that feel on the outside. They feel like they're other to the people that are the majority.
Thank you. What a valuable book, huh? Smashing our way through 2020 at the moment.
Exactly.
I want to come to your launch. What's the date again?
So it's the 4th of March, so Wednesday the 4th of March. It's at 6 p.m. in Waterstones in Birmingham, so in the big Waterstones near to the Bullring.
And what's happening afterwards?
I don't know.
Celebration drinks?
Maybe. I'm not drinking these days though, so...
Can we have a vegan drink?
We can have some Prosecco.
No secco, I love that. Cool. So everybody, if you want to meet Sheryl in person, head down to the Waterstones in Birmingham on the 4th of March at 6 p.m. Okay?
Perfect.
She'll be there to sign your book. All right.
I get really embarrassed signing the books, but it's imposter syndrome.
Well,
you can never get rid of it.
I know. I think you just need to get used to it. You're going to be like a mini celebrity, you know. Get used to it. Well, also Sheryl's really interesting because her and Leah, by the way, are always working on interesting projects, and they are property entrepreneurs. So you guys actually might know them more for service accommodation, but they've actually taken a massive shift in another strategy which they've developed a massive passion for, which is redevelopments and BRR. And I wanted to I know that you've been working on 2 deals. You finished one deal, you're working on another. Can you tell us a bit about it? And I'll grill you on the numbers.
Sure. Which deal do you want me to start with? The one that was finished or the one that we're working on?
The one that you're working on, and we'll end with the one that you finished, because that's an interesting case study.
So the one that we are working on currently, so this was an office. So it was an office. I mean, you know, we've learnt so much, and I've learnt so much about the world of planning. So I'm now I'm now actually starting on the planning for the next deal that we're working on. But so it was B2 offices, I think, was its planning use. The building was originally 2 townhouses that had obviously then been combined into like one office building. So I think for about the past 40 odd years it had been used as offices. It's quite an old building, you know, 1850, I think. So we saw it and we thought, this can work, you know, it kind of looks, it's kind of like a good rectangle. We could see that in terms of the internal config, it didn't need that much reconfiguration to get it to work. So yeah, so it's going to be an 8-bed, 8-bathroom house share.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Are you going to be putting kitchenettes in the rooms, or is it just...
No, we because we're a bit scared of the council tax kind of changes and those sorts of things. So we tend to, and we don't really tend to go for en suites in the rooms either. We'll have 2 of the rooms with en suites on the ground floor, but I guess certainly what we learnt when we were doing the first one was we almost thought, let's do it in a way such that if somebody wanted to buy it as a residential home, it would be quite easy to convert back. So we did that by basically just co-locating all of the bathrooms together. So with this one,
I really like that. I remember I saw a floor plan where you'd done it maybe to the previous project, all the bathrooms are together.
Yeah,
I think that's very clever.
So we're doing something similar here. So basically here it's a 3-storey building, which means, you know, you need like fireboarding and stuff like that between it, but there'll be en suites on the 2 ground floor rooms, and then a big open plan kitchen diner. And then upstairs, basically, for each of the 3 rooms on each floor, there'll be 3 wet rooms next to each other. So that's how we're carving up the space. So trying to keep the cost down by, you know, not putting plumbing into all of the rooms, and also, again, kind of keeping the cost down by trying to minimise changes to the layout where it's not necessary. Yeah.
I think that sounds really smart.
Yeah.
I've got something to throw in there, because obviously the council tax per room is becoming an issue.
Yeah.
And I was having a look at another investor's floor plan. I think it was a few months ago, and he doesn't mind being charged council tax per room, but he's made his into the kitchenette and ensuite, so it's kind of like a studio
like a
anyway.
mini flat.
But I suppose that can justify a higher rent as well, because I was thinking if you were slapped with it, you know, I know that legally the cost goes on to the tenant. However, who would want to rent for that amount of money in shared rooms? Only other strategy you can go towards on an HMO basis is to make it a self-contained room, right, and charge higher rent.
I think you need to think about your market. So we know that in terms of where our HMOs are, to be honest, the rate that we're charging for a room, you know, some people could get a flat for where we are. So
that's great.
We you've got to position it quite carefully. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's quite complex, the whole council tax thing is. I mean,
it is.
Yeah,
it is. And I know a lot of investors, HMO investors, are being slapped with this across the country, and it's a big issue.
Yeah.
But I think it is just maybe switching strategies a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, if that's unavoidable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because otherwise you might be placed out the market in terms of too many voids, because you can't rent your room out.
Yeah.
So but I'm also thinking that in less desirable cities, even though there is an HMO model, but they might not have the same sort of professionals that we usually go for there, so that would be a big shame, because they can't actually increase their rent even though they did it up really nicely.
Exactly. Definitely something to watch. I mean, we, you know, we've kind of got our niche that we go for, and, you know, hopefully by sort of still keeping it with the feel of a house share, you know, with the tenants communicating quite a lot and sharing space and all that sort of thing, hopefully that kind of keeps them at bay. But you've just got to be flexible, haven't you?
And are you guys doing the management of the HMOs yourself, or?
We are. We are. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're lucky. We're lucky that we deliberately have kind of tried to stick fairly close to home, where we've got trades that we know. You know, so we know the area really well. We know the trades. You know, we've set up, so things that have been invaluable for us, we've got a WhatsApp group with the tenants in, with the tradesmen that did the actual work. So when anything happens,
we've taken all of ours off WhatsApp literally yesterday.
Why?
Yeah, I had loads of houses on WhatsApp groups. When you grow, that's not, when you're starting, in terms of you've got a small portfolio of HMOs, it's okay. But when you grow and you have more, it's the worst thing.
Really?
Because if you have a bad tenant, and it does happen, or one gets a bit angry, they can make the whole house like really bitchy.
Yeah.
We've had that experience where
really?
they're just going off at the staff, and you
Oh,
wake
that's
up and it's a whole
terrible.
barrage of WhatsApp messages, and
wow.
they're winding each other up. So, but what we've done, so you guys are more than welcome to come, and when Algida's in, she can talk to you guys about systemization if I can. But we basically pushed everything to email.
Right.
Yeah, because there's only so much in terms of diffusing a situation, which is better through a professional channel.
I think I quite like seeing. So if somebody's annoyed and they're raising it on WhatsApp, I think I quite like it, because I would try to go in and diffuse it potentially. Do you know what I mean? But that's really interesting.
Yeah,
it's really
I really enjoyed having it on WhatsApp. And Algida also, who works with us now, she's got her own, I think it's 8, she's got rent and HMOs. So she's also taken all of hers off WhatsApp. Really? So we're going through the email route.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ours got on really well. Ours are like, if somebody leaves something in the washing machine, somebody will put a message in and say, oh, I left something in the washing machine, can anyone move it to dry? And they're like, yeah, all right, love. So it's great.
That's fine. We've got nice houses, but when you grow, you'll have some houses when they literally have goes at each other. We've got one house and it's just like abusive. The language is abusive. Really? I went in to try and sort it out, but then I just think it's still
if it's not working, if it's not working, the relationship's not there, then
and also because we have staff, right, so whenever they put something on there, they are at work mode, right, because it's going onto their WhatsApp, if that makes sense, so they overread it, whereas it can wait till the next morning for the office to sort out, because it's not urgent. It's just someone having a bit of a moan because the mop's outside instead of inside. So just FYI, there will be a time when your HMO portfolio is growing, you might encounter that. But it just means time to because you're growing, you need to re-systemize a little bit.
I think maybe our tenants are too scared to moan at me.
Well, that's quite funny, isn't it? Don't get on the wrong side of Sheryl. Whilst we're talking about getting on the wrong side, this is I thought we'd talk about this because it's an interesting topic. So Leah has been getting some flack, on social media. I don't think she has this year, but she was definitely a target a few times last year. And although you guys work in partnership together, you've never really gotten any flack or criticism of anybody, but she seems to get it a lot.
Only occasion. I guess it's going to be a function of how much you put yourself out there. So you put yourself out there and you will get some. I've had the odd random comment.
Really?
I've really
had
random.
Some too, but then I try and ignore most of them. But as a mum, how does it make you feel when, I think the thing that I've seen Leah accused of most is being a plant in someone else's training, when she was going to support the event, and so how did that make you feel? Because I know you guys invest.
I think at the start I just thought it was funny. Like, I just thought it was ridiculous. Like, I literally did. It is, I mean, obviously it's difficult because I know how I would feel if I were sort of like on the end of it. So it is difficult, and we've had conversations about this. So obviously, Leah's been Leah's actually wanted to go into YouTube as like a thing for quite a long time. It's probably only recently, obviously, people have seen Leah on YouTube in the last year. So we have talked about, how do you sort of like remain strong, etc. To be honest, I mean, I think, so it's difficult for me to watch, but I think Leah's really grown up a lot through it, which is nice to see. And is kind of really aware of, how it affects her, and sort of tries to kind of take steps and stuff. But it's not easy, and so social media is a very strange place. People behave in a way on social media that they wouldn't in face to face, on the street, which is slightly frustrating, but I think that's just the nature of social media for some reason.
There's a lot of keyboard warriors out there. For me, because I know both of you, I know that you both actively invest in property. And Leah obviously started, and she's grown a lot as well. And she's got you, to back her, support her as a mum, and also business partner. So that's been great for Leah. But when I've come across it, I've just been like really annoyed, because I just think that Leah's not selling training courses or anything. Like, stop picking on her. If you want to pick on anyone, pick on Sheryl.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking, because ultimately, like, you're not getting as much flack as her, right? I did actually have a think about it. I was thinking, is it because of Leah's age? Is it because she's a female and she's pretty? What's going on? I think it's a combination.
There's probably some of that, isn't there?
Or it's more interesting to attack her as opposed to attack you. Let's say, but we're all grown women, so we can stand up, and Leah can stand up for herself as well now. So I think it's interesting to hear about it. But I think unless you're willing to say the things that you say face to face with a person, don't be a freaking keyboard warrior, because that is just like not very it's not very brave. If you cannot say something to someone to their face that you're typing, I just don't think you should say it at all.
I'd love to think that we are going to change the world by saying that, but
and also, on that note, it also is nice for other female entrepreneurs to support each other a bit more as well, and stand up for each other if you think something's not right. Now back to property. Because you've had a very successful
that's a different video.
A very successful BRR project. So could you tell us a bit more about that and the numbers?
Right, so the BRR, the numbers of the BRR, so the first BRR that we did, so this is the 2-bed to the 5-bed.
So 2-bed to 5-bed HMO, which is a massive transition.
It was, and it was very it's very neat footprint, very smart. Did I share the I
think that's when I saw your cluster of bathrooms all together. I was like, that's so smart. Because you can still have that sort of ensuite or private bathroom experience, right?
Exactly. So the number, so we bought it for 74.
Lovely.
It was a deal. It was in really bad conditions. That's why it was priced at that, and also it was priced at that because it was being marketed as a commercial property.
So they priced it on the they put it in the wrong
priced
platform.
on the wrong basis, exactly. And it was with a residential estate agent, and obviously, as we know, residential agents aren't always that up on planning and all of those sorts of things. So it was with a residential agent who, because a business was being run from it, they were then marketing it as though it was commercial.
Clever.
But it wasn't at all.
Was this in your hometown?
Just
perfect.
So it's been marketed as commercial, so we got it for 74. It was in estate, it needed some work.
If it was residential, how much would it, if they had properly
I think it would
advertised
I think it probably would have been at least another
10 grand?
10 to 15, And also, we probably wouldn't have gotten it because the deal, it had been sold once and it had fallen through because the vendor couldn't agree with the buyer, and the buyer was actually a builder who wanted to buy it, but because they couldn't agree who was going to get the planning through, because they all thought it was commercial, that's why it fell through. So clearly we were meant to have that property.
I think so. You know exactly what to do with it, right?
So we bought it for 74. Our original budget was 25, so we completely blew the budget, but that's because that budget had been set based on what this builder thought it was going to cost.
Right, okay.
And obviously he was a builder. And obviously he wasn't going to be doing it to HMO reg, so all of that costs more money.
Right.
So we ended up spending just over 40, so about 42 we spent in total.
Does that include your legal fees, any broker fees and so forth?
The fees were relatively low, because so we took a bridge, but the bridge was only like 50k.
Okay.
And it was all quite straightforward. Eventually when we realised that it actually wasn't a commercial property and all of that stuff, it was relatively straightforward. So 42k. We then sort of, did it all up, did it to a really good standard. And it's fair to say that in my hometown, the standard of rentals generally, it's not like a Birmingham or a Manchester, so the standard's quite low, so it's easy to kind of set a standard that's slightly higher, and they stand out from the market.
They do high-end stuff anyway. Nice branded high-end. I love it. Heart.
So we'd spent just over 40, and then when it came to the refinancing, and we took a few tips from, I think like Leah had seen a few things online in terms of get a brochure ready for the valuer when they come round and all that stuff. So we did like a full brochure of like before and afters, detailed like how much each room was renting for. I think by the time the valuer came, it was pretty much full anyway.
Amazing.
So he was able to see, the rental numbers, etc., the work that we'd done. The lender did ask us for more detail on the costings, because when his valuation came back, which was 140, the lender was like, how have you increased the value from 74 to 140? Yeah.
Doubled it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great, because the revaluation was at 140. Your money all in was 117.
Yeah.
So, and how much did you pull out again?
So we pulled out, so we ended up leaving in about 10
grand.
Yeah.
I've got 107 on the board.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
so the
fantastic.
mortgage is 107. Yeah.
And how much rent does it give you? Like
just under 2,200. I think it's 2,150 at the moment, because one of the rents is
okay.
just
We just make it 2 grand, so 24 grand in a year, roughly, which will pay off the mortgage.
Yeah.
And also,
I mean, the mortgage interest payments are 390.
Oh, crikey.
So that's the...
So basically, you pulled all your money out in a year.
Yeah.
Because you had 10 grand left, and you're earning that through the rental income of your net as well. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I really struggled for our next deal. It took us so long to find a deal, because I was just comparing all of the numbers to that one. I was like, it's got to make that, and the return's got to be that. And
that's
it was really
a phenomenal
difficult.
return,
it's
though.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, it is fantastic. I'm so pleased. Are you guys pleased?
We are pleased. I think, and I think for us seeing that return, I mean, obviously it was a lot of effort, but still, we got a very good builder. So the refurb was done in about 14, 15 weeks, which isn't bad for the amount of work. But I think it was when we saw that, and when we really enjoyed the experience of kind of creating a home for for the sort of tenants that we've got.
And you were very hands-on, both you and Leah, during this process.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we didn't get involved in the building stuff, but we were hands-on with the project management. So we'd go down at least weekly, because you've got to be there for decisions that are being taken, and all. That's why I'm definitely not so into remote investing. If you're doing a BRR, for me, you've got to be nearby, because there are so many decisions that need taking all the time.
I'm just thinking, I've got a question for you. So your builder, where did he get your materials from? And did he get them at a good price?
He did get a good price, and the bulk of it he got through his contacts. Do you know what I mean? He did get a good price. Some of it I sourced. So
amazing.
For our bathrooms, because I quite like sourcing stuff, I'll go and search on the internet. So sometimes he would just tell me the spec that he needed, and then I would then go and source it. So we had it was a bit of a combination.
Have you, are you guys a member of LMPG?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, did you get a lot of stuff through them? Oh, she didn't. I'm not a member, but the reason why I'm asking is because I'm just considering registering.
I tell you what I did find useful in terms of LMPG, the Facebook group. I found really useful, because there were people talking about their experiences of refurbishments, and discussing the different suppliers that you could use and where the quality was better. So it was definitely useful in terms of I got some tips, but less so in terms of the discounting. But maybe that's because I'm the sort of buyer that is happy to trawl the internet for the best deals.
I think so.
It's difficult to beat that anyway.
You quite like the quality. You guys focus on quality branding. I would say more than discounts. Although discounts are good.
Yeah, exactly. If you kind of value your time more, and you're just happy to let somebody else maybe do the legwork, then I think LMPG would maybe work for you.
How does it work? Do they have stuff that's already set up as a bulk package or something that you just buy?
There are one or two things like that, but essentially it's a membership that you're signing up for, and then basically there are lots and lots of suppliers from a combination of builders, merchants, bathrooms, the whole shebang, that have agreed, where they've agreed favourable terms with LMPG. So it's definitely worth looking at. I mean, bear in mind, in the last one, we didn't need to get a brand new kitchen, and we didn't need to get a brand new boiler.
I see.
I think if we had needed to get those things, then I think that's where LMPG probably comes into its own.
Amazing.
But certainly for the other things, we kind of just found better deals, like local suppliers and things like that.
Fantastic. Supporting local businesses.
Yeah.
Very important, right?
Yeah.
And I guess, Sheryl, just rounding this interview up, as a female property entrepreneur and a professional, what would be your biggest tip or saying for 2020 to sort of help other people and inspire them?
It would, it would have to be to be brave. I think, and I say that particularly for women, because I think the whole confidence thing as well. And for a lot of women, they see the men in property doing the deals and whatever, which is fine. But there is definitely space for women in property, and there is space for how women tend to go about things, which is often, you know, a bit more measured, so not necessarily rushing into things. So I would say for 2020, particularly to the women out there that may be thinking of getting into property, that may be being a little bit overly cautious, I would just say be brave. Be brave. You know, if we can do it, you can do it.
Be brave, girls,
Yeah.
ladies,
Yeah.
and
Be brave.
men out there. So thank you, Sheryl, very much,
Oh, you're
guys,
welcome.
and get a copy of the book, yeah, because no matter what you're doing, I'm sure this is going to be very helpful.
Oh, thank
I'm
you,
going to be
Lesley.
reading, and I'll leave you a review, hey?
Great,
On
that'd
the
be
book.
great. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you
Perfect.
so much.
Thank you, Lesley.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, everybody,
Bye.
and we'll see you on the next episode on, what am I going to call this? Friends on Friday.
Friends on a Friday.
Friends on a Friday.
It's got a ring to it.
Lots of
Great.
love.
Thanks, Lesley. Bye.